will present about the pre-experimental design, true experimental design, and quasi-experimental design. I hope that you will be understand about this also, and this kind of things usually get in touch with you who is in the bachelor degree, which is you are from old semester, you know what I mean. So today I want to explain about the pre-experimental design at first. So pre-experimental design are so named because they follow basic experimental steps but fall to include a control group. In other words, a single group is often studied but not comparison between an equivalent treatment group and between those two groups. But we can understand this in example, one short case study. In this arrangement, subjects are presented with some type of treatment, such as semester of college work experience, and then the outcome measure is applied, such as college grades. You know whether the college grades is very variable toward the data itself. So, like all experimental design, the goal is to determine if the treatment had any effect on the outcome. Without a comparison group, it is impossible to determine if the outcome scores as any higher than they would have been without the treatment. And without any pretest scores, it is impossible to determine if any change within the group itself. And then there is another example, like one group pretest post-test design, where they name with pretest and post-test design. The benefit of this design over the previously discussed design is the inclusion of a pretest to determine baseline scores. To use this design in our study of college performance, we could compare college grades prior to gaining the work experience to grades after completing a semester of a work experience. We can now at least state whether a change in the outcomes depends variable has taken place. Well, we can say if this change would have occurred even without the application of a treatment independent variable. It is possible that mere maturation caused the change in the grades and not to the work experience itself, right? Then we can say another example is about the static group comparison, or we can say like post-test only with non-equivalent group. So this design attempts to make for a lack of a control group, but falls short in a relation to showing if a change has occurred. In the static group, comparison study, two groups are chosen, one of which receives the treatment and the other doesn't have this kind of treatment. So the post-test score is determined to measure the difference. Then after the treatment between these two groups, as you can see, this study doesn't include any pretesting and therefore any difference between the two groups prior to the study are unknown. And then this kind of thing is the pretest experimental design that we can understand about. So let's jump into the next point, which is the quasi-experimental design. So the quasi is far better than the pre-experimental study in that they employ a means to a compared group. They fall short, however, on one very important aspect of the experiment is the randomization. The pretest post-test non-equivalent group is one of the example, is the first example that we can take. With this design, both a control group and an experimental group is compared. However, the groups are chosen and assigned out of a convenience rather than through a randomization. This might be the method of choice for our study on work experience, as it would be difficult to choose students in a college setting at a random and place them in a specific group and classes. Then we might ask students to participate in a one semester work experience program. Then what we would have measures that all the students' grades prior to the start of the program and then again after the program. Then those students who participate would be our treatment group. Those who didn't would be the non-treatment group. Then the next is a time series design. Time series design refers to pre-testing and post-testing of one group of a subject at the different intervals. Then the purpose might be to determine the long-term effect of the treatment, and therefore the number of pre- and post-tests can vary from one each to many. Sometimes there is an interruption between tests in order to assess the strength of a treatment over an extended time period. When such a design is employed, the post-test is referred to a follow-up. And the next is non-equivalent before-after design. This design is used when we want to compare two groups that are likely to be different even before the study begins. In other words, if we want to see how new treatment affects people with a different psychological disorder, the disorder themselves would create two or more non-equivalent groups. So once again, the number of a pre-test and a post-test can vary from one each to many. The obvious concern with all of the quasi-experimental design result from the method of choosing subject to participate in an experiment, and while we could compare grades and determine if there was a difference between the two groups before and after the study. And we could not state that the differences is related to the work's experience itself or some other confounding variable. It is certainly possible that those who volunteered for the study were inherently different in terms of motivation from those who didn't participate. Whenever subjects are chosen for a group-based or convenience rather than randomization, the reason for inclusion in the study itself confounds our result. And the final is the true experimental design, or we can say randomized experimental design. The true experimental design makes up for the shortcoming of the two designs previously discussed. They employ both control group and means to measure the change that occurs both groups. In this sense, we attempt to control for all confounding variables, or at least consider their impact, while attempting to determine if the treatment is what truly caused the change. So the true experimental is often thought of as the only research method that can adequately measure the cause and effect relationship. So for example, post-test equivalent group study is one of the randomization and the comparison of both a control and an experimental group are utilized in this type of study. So each group chosen and assigned at a random is presented with either the treatment or some type of control. So post-tests are given to each subject to determine if a difference between the two groups exists. Well, this is approaching the best method. It falls short in its lack of a pre-test measures. It is difficult to determine if the difference apparent at the end of the study is an actual change from the possible difference at the beginning of the study. In other words, randomization does well to make subjects but it doesn't completely assure us that this mix is truly creating an equivalent between those two groups. The next example would be like pre-test post-test equivalent group study. Of those discussed, this method is the most effective in terms of demonstrating cause and effect, but it is also the most difficult to perform. The pre-test post-test equivalent groups design provides for both control groups and a measure of a change, but also adds a pre-test to assess a difference between the groups prior to the study taking place. So, to apply this design to our work experience study, we would select a student from the college at a random, then place them in the chosen students into two kind of groups using a random assignment. We would then measure the previous semester's grades for each group to get a mean grade point average. The treatment of work experience would be applied to one group and control would be applied to the other. Then it is important that the two groups be treated in a similar manner to control for variables such as socialization, so we may allow our control group to participate in some activities such as softball league, while the other group is participating in a work experience program. At the end of this semester, the experiment would end and the next semester's grades would be gathered and compared. If we found that the change in the grade for the experimental group was significantly different, then the change of the grades of our control group, we could reasonably argue that one semester of a work experience program compared to one semester of non-work related activity result in a significant difference in the grades. So that's all from my explanation. Thank you for watching.